I've been falling all my life, and people wonder why I'm down to earth.
This is Adversity University. If you waiting for somebody to feel sorry for you, then you failed already. Success is best of those who've been grounded first. Cause ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Now what are you willing to do? The only thing that separates a winner from a loser is perseverance. And this is Adversity University.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome again to another episode of The Art of Growing Through Anxiety. It's me, Coty Martin, aka Coty Motivation. I'm here with the one and only Kim Peake with Avocations Counselor, the one and only. Listen, we've been spending a lot of time with y'all, giving y'all some game, giving y'all some education and information, and we're real excited today for this episode because we're just gonna be doing a whole lot of dialogue, a whole lot of chopping it up. But most importantly, we got a whole lot of offers coming up, specifically with our private community and what we're doing with Adversity University and the yard, what we call it. And here's where you can interact with not only myself and other individuals, like-minded individuals on the same path to grow, heal, and empower personally and professionally. We will be hosting these personal growth semesters, right? So what we decided is every single month, we're gonna do these personal growth challenges. We know that it's 30 days in a month, right? We're gonna focus on 5 of them days every month, right? 5-day personal growth challenge. That's what we're gonna focus on. In addition to focusing on ourselves for these 5 days in a month, we're gonna focus on ourselves in a cohort, so to speak, with the actual support group, male support groups, right, which will be hosted by me, your licensed therapist and your number one motivator, and we got women support group, which will be hosted by Kim, your licensed therapist and your number one advocate, right? So we're very, very excited just to be, moving forward with what we're doing. What we like to do best is just grow, heal, and empower, talk what we talk, be who we are, but most importantly, lend our voice and our expertise to just help somebody be proactive in their journey to just growing personally. We know life is not an easy thing, and we don't know what we don't know until we find out that we don't know it. So we just want to, take advantage of each other. Just like, yes, I'm a licensed therapist. Kim's a licensed therapist, and we have licensed therapist friends, and we take advantage of them all day. I know I do. I use the mess out of Kim, right?
I don't. I have my own therapist who I pay for.
Yeah, and I'm one of them because you be using me too. hey, you be using me too, but that's what it's about, right? So we understand life and all that comes with it, and just the hardship of it, right? Life ain't always peachy and cream. Life ain't always the best, and you need somebody in your circumference, in your circle, to be able to uplift you, encourage you, and continue to motivate you just to do and be better every single day. Oftentimes we give up when life hits, because it hits hard. A lot of times we give up, but we need people around us to see us giving up, even if we don't, verbalize those things, and give us that extra push that we need. Sometimes we don't know we need an extra boost. Sometimes we think we just got it all figured out. Sometimes we say, you know what, I'm going to just shut down for the day. I'm going to just shut down for the moment. And then that moment turns to a week, month, 6 months, and you're still in the same place. But if you're around people that notice your positive energy every day, they definitely go notice your negative energy. And then, if they're who they're supposed to be in your life, they're going to start trying to figure out, okay, what's happening? Let me pull this person to the side. Let me talk to him. Let me see what's going on with him. And in that aspect, from there on, you and that person start to realize how valuable the both of you are to each other in each other's lives. And a lot of times, these people aren't always the people that we see every day, right? Because this is some valuable information. And I had to say this to myself here recently, because people will oftentimes forget what you say, but nobody will ever forget how you make them feel, ever. So it's not about just talking to somebody every single day. It's about when you do interact with people, make those people feel good, right? And while you're making those people feel good, in turn, they're making you feel good, but there's a connection that's being made. And that connection, in some instances, those bonds are hard to break when they're genuine. It's easy to befriend somebody when they got a whole lot of money, they got a whole lot of motion, right? They got a whole lot going on, and you want to be a part of that. It's difficult to be, to try to, grab hold of somebody when they don't have much going on, finding the value in somebody when they don't have a lot of motion, when they don't have a whole lot of extracurricular going on. Most of us are kings and queens, right? In our own right. But part of the problem is we need other people to validate that before we believe it. That need to stop, but at the same time, if that's what you need to surround yourself around people who can see you, right? People who can and will validate you. And if the people that you are associated with right now aren't validating you, if you feel like you're always in this anxious mode, you always feel like stuck in the box, stuck in the bubble around the individuals that you're around, whether professional, whether personal, whether relational. If you feel like you're not growing, you have to reevaluate these people. And these are some of the most difficult things in life. When you grow and nobody around you is growing. Because what happens is you start feeling like the oddball, and you start feeling like something is wrong with you, right? Because you want more for yourself, you want more for your life. You start feeling like something is wrong with you. Is the survivor's remorse, right? Because now you're growing to a new height, and everybody around you, they're not willing or want to, right? Or care to. But the things that you aspire to be, the things that you aspire to do, you recognize that. People's vision is so like short term that they can't see what you see. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So why keep putting yourself in the same situation thinking things just go automatically change? If the person around you don't want to do better, be better, they're not. They're not going to do better. They're not going to be better. So at what point do you decide to make a shift? At what point do you decide I need to be associated with somebody different, right? At what point do you decide like your circle is not really a circle, it's a box? And I'll take it a step further. It's more than a box. It's actually a cage, right? You can't keep yourself in this prison, right, that you've created for yourself, that society has created for you, right? You can't keep yourself. We got to educate ourselves and do everything outside of what we would normally do, because that's when we start getting different results. If we stay doing the same thing that we always do, we're going to stay in the same positions that we're always in. So it's important for us to just make a shift, no matter how uncomfortable it is. I'm uncomfortable right now, right? But I'm winning right now.
She's showing up.
Because I'm showing up. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really about stepping outside of that comfort zone, understand the value of life and what it really means. Block out all the distractions, whether it's all these women, whether it's all these men, whether it's all this money that you're chasing. Like, we got to stop chasing money, identify the purpose, move towards the purpose. We ain't even chasing purpose. We identify the purpose and we move towards that purpose. And when you identify that purpose and you move towards it, everything just start to attract. Everybody, the right people, the right things, the right opportunity, they begin to attract. Why? Because you've identified that purpose. That means you're not chasing anything. That means there's less distractions in your life that could push you towards the direction that you don't want to go. But if you identify the purpose, right, you move towards that purpose, organically, the right people will start entering into your world. It's crazy because it's scary. I ain't saying this just because I heard it on TV the other day, right? I ain't saying this because I've been scrolling through IG and TikTok, you know what I mean, and Facebook, which I ain't got no Facebook no more. But I ain't saying all this because of what I heard. I'm saying, I'm mentioning all of this stuff because it's not only what I know professionally, but it's what I live, right? And it's one thing to not experience the good side of what you want, and you could be moving towards something and you're always experiencing the bad, and you're going to stay speaking to the bad, you're going to stay speaking to the negative, but there's always a positive side of everything. And this is what I'm speaking to now. Once I personally decided to step outside of my norm, my everyday norm, and do things different, start paying attention to the things that's going to actually do me some good as opposed to hindering my life, everything started changing. I mean, everything started changing, but what also began to change was my comfort level. You know why? Because I was completely uncomfortable. The types of people that I'm used to interacting with, that changed and shifted. The type of circles that that I was normally in that had to change and shift, right? The type of conversation, interactions, the types of opportunities. There was all things that were uncomfortable because I spent no time chasing these things. So when things out of the ordinary just start to appear, just because you're moving in purpose, man, it's a different type of feeling, right? And it's a different type of reward you get, because now you're seeing the value. Experience is the best teacher, I'm telling you, because now you're seeing the value of community, right? The right community. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. You touched on a lot of good stuff. And I just want to go back and kind of piggyback off of some things. One of the things that you touched on is seeking validation through others. Sometimes we trust our reflection through others versus looking within ourselves. So the number one thing that we need to develop is the relationship with ourselves. A lot of the times we find ourselves outsourcing our gifts, outsourcing our love, outsourcing ourself, our compassion towards everyone else. But a lot of things, what we outsource, we don't give back to ourselves.
Right.
We don't give back to ourselves. We seek validation in someone else to, affirm us and to, say, yeah, you know what, I think you should move forward. We don't trust ourselves, all because of the mindset that we have about ourselves. So when we talk about mindsets, we talk about the belief, what we believe about ourselves at our core. So this is a lot of what we're going to be talking about on Women's Wednesdays, is to teach you how to develop a better relationship with yourself. Love yourself. It is not a problem for us to outsource, but it is very uncomfortable for us to look in the mirror and give what we give to everybody else back to us and say, you know what, I'm enough and I deserve it. But we overachieve and overly show up to be in someone else's lives, right? But when it comes down to us, we have a very critical voice in our head that keeps us down, which will cause us to have imposter syndrome or stand still. So here's the thing, right beside your purpose will also be, the fear that's attached to it to keep you still. What is keeping you still? Because I guarantee you, the areas where you struggle at, the areas that's keeping you, grounded, afraid to move, is your strongest area. That is your most attacked area. That's the thing that you need to work on the most. That's the thing that you need to find balance in and say, you know what? Not only do I need to give this out, but I need to learn how to go inward and give this to myself too. Those are the things that we're going to be talking about. And with that talks about identifying your trigger. A lot of people, when I say trigger, what we're trying to draw into this group is develop a better mindset about yourself, meaning those women who struggle and feel that they are not enough. It is time for us to remove the mask and show up for ourselves and be vulnerable and say, this is how I feel about me. I don't feel very safe now, but I'm doing the work slowly but surely. That's not going to be afraid to kind of show their build up to success, or remove the mask to say, you know what, this is how the world appears. I show up in the world, but this is how I feel about myself and ready to make the steps. That's what we're going to be offering in the groups. In the groups, the trigger, reducing how to, reduce those negative thoughts about yourselves. What are your core values? Who your core values is like DNA to let you know this is who you are and this is what you have to protect, meaning how to set boundaries. How do you protect yourself? How do you set boundaries? So even before we go into relationships with other people, where are we in context of the relationship of ourselves? And that's something we're going to really have to get comfortable with asking, because a lot of us show up and we got old mean nasty mask on, Coty. I mean, we decked out to the gods, honey. You hear me? But at night when we lay our head down, you said, how long will it take for you to say, okay, I had enough and move forward? Here's the thing. There is at night when you take off your makeup, when you have done all the people pleasing and doing things for everybody else and showing up and putting on the cake, at night when you're tossing and turning because you're uncomfortable, there's a fight, there's an internal fight. Some may call it anxiety, okay? But it's just like, okay, I know I should, but I'm scared. I'm afraid I'm going to do that. Should I step forward? Where those who are transitioning but are being stopped because of fear of the what ifs. But at night, it's eating them up. I got to do better. I know I need to grow in this area. But how? How do you have an internal fight? And what that is if for a mother who's had someone who has had children or aware of seeing videos or whatever, you're being birthed. So you got to push some things out. You got to push past your fear so that you can go into your next level of greatness. Now, in your next level, you're not even going to know how to communicate. You're not even going to probably know how to walk steady and everything else. But the more you do it, the better you get around, the more you put yourself in rooms, the more you use your tools, the better you're going to get at it. Before you know, you started talking a language. The next thing you know, you're standing on your own and you're walking in it. But here's the thing. You had to be pushed, uncomfortable situation into your greatness. And sometimes we have to do that. So it's not until you are tired of the internal fight that you're having, just you and your thoughts, that's keeping you like, oh my God, where you're going to say, I got to do something about it. And that's different levels for everybody. But at the end of the night, when you lay your head down and you keep waking up because of what ifs, and you go back to sleep, that internal fight, that's in between you and your thoughts. And then it's up to you to decide, you know what? I'd rather deal with what's on the other side than to keep standing here. This is crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely insane. No, you definitely hit a lot of key points, man. Especially when you're always speaking to, like, you know, your core beliefs, right? Because I mean that's ultimately the foundation of your self-awareness, which, you know, once you have a, you know positive core belief, right, not harmful, right, you become a lot more aware of yourself, which helps you identify and understand, you know, who you are as a person, what you like, what you don't like, what you enjoy, what you don't want to enjoy. But most importantly, it gives you a certain sense of value, right? Because we all are valuable, but we leave it to other people to knock our value down. And that's just because we're not self-aware like we need to be. We don't have the core beliefs that we need to sustain us long term.
Well, that's because at an early, you know, whether it's a traumatic event or at an early age, it's not even just someone, it could be something that causes us to view it from that standpoint. Like something could have happened to me when I was 12 and I don't ever want it to happen. So I keep walking into situations as if I was 12. Versus, you know, saying, you know what, girl, you are enough. To my 12-year-old self, and utilizing the tools and then moving forward.
Stay right there, Kim. Stay right there, because anybody listening listen to what she said. Like, that's crazy, because a lot of people do show up as that 12-year-old person. Still, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old.
Say if I was a client and I came to you, or say if I was a person that came to you, a friend, and I have struggled with anger issues. Like I'm cool, but when I pop off, I pop off, right? Or when I'm trying to get my point across, and people are like, why you always gotta yell? I'm not yelling. This is how I want to communicate. This is da. A lot of times, if you go back in your past, in your childhood, you were not heard. You didn't have a voice.
Exactly.
So here I am. I'm 12. Nobody heard me. I'm the youngest. Nobody's paying any attention to me. So guess what? At my 30-something self, I'm going to come up. Would we disagree? Would the world disagree?
Yeah. But
okay. But listen, I'm coming into my relationships, my friendships, and whenever there's something, whenever I feel attacked, whenever I'm not gonna, my 30-year-old self is not gonna come up, right? Keep going with me. My 30-year-old self is not going to show up. My 12-year-old, because first of all, no, you don't even hear me, because I'm trying to tell you, is this the way I feel? Why you ain't listening to me? This how I feel though. This is what I'm going through. And that 12-year-old comes up. You address the 12-year-old, you're not addressing the 30-year-old. Because all I know is I'm never heard.
Yeah.
No one thinks enough of me to hear me, so I'm going to get my point across. We all do it.
Man, listen, like that's why I want to stay there, because that right there creates so many issues and so many relationships, so many friendships all the time. It's because like the argument that's happening right now ain't really.
It's not even, it has no roots, Coty.
None.
Perception. Do you know my perception when I was 20 changed now that I'm 30 something, 31? You know, it's changed. Roll with me. But yeah.
So we're at this big age, we got to stop feeling like we got something to prove to somebody. Like it ain't nothing to prove to somebody. We don't have to. It's just that we want somebody that we're passionate about to feel us, to view us, to understand us. But you got to think like two parties that, was raised two different ways, that experienced two different types of traumas. You understand? They're going to show up different when
you have to learn how to come and join.
Yeah.
Ooh, go ahead and talk. You stay right there, sir. So you got to learn how to come in. And guess what? In this is a transition, right? We transition. So those who are transitioning into relationships and trying to, communicate, listen, y'all are going to bump heads. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be all the smooth stuff that we see on TV, like everything happened within 2 hours or whatever. Follow Love may have one argument, but they work their way through it. No, it is a constant. For women, sometimes we have to constantly die to ourselves daily. Like, ooh, okay, how do I show up differently? Because if I were to say, put your pen in your left hand and right, and then I go on and talk for 30 minutes and I say, okay, pick up your pen. I'm going to pick it up with my right hand. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So in relationships, we got to learn how to do that. And it may not be smooth. It may not be easy, because you guys are learning how to take, this is the good. This is what I like. This is what I have to change. This is what you like. And this is what you have to change. And let's see how we can merge this thing together, because we have two different backgrounds. Yeah. And that's okay, because guess what? As contrast, that's iron sharpening iron. Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
But we got to talk about ego and pride in these situations. You see, because
you got to talk about it, sir.
Because
I'm being quiet. That's not my area. It's still a construction site back there.
It's okay. But see, in those situations when you're triggered, because what we identify are triggers, right? That pull up the past trauma from when we were younger, right? Mm-hmm. And when we wasn't seen, we wasn't heard. Right. So the minute somebody that's close to us, that we love, that we know really don't want to hurt us, when they go to doing what they do and we feel disrespected, or we feel like something went the way that it wasn't supposed to go, instead of us just sitting back and like, you know what, that person may not get it, or it ain't that serious, we want to raise up. We want to poke out our chest, and we're not going to let nothing just slide by like that. We got to prove our point, because subconsciously we hear our parents or our older siblings or our cousins over talking us, or not giving us an opportunity, or just shutting us out completely.
And you don't even hear the person in real time.
You just feel what you feel. You feel that past experience, and you don't want to feel that no more. That's why most people that's filled with anger, right, and resolve things in that way. That's why they pop off first. They ask questions later.
Because they gotta defend themselves. Yeah.
Right. But see, what does that do? It always results into negative consequences that you always regret. So at what point do we think about the things that we do? Just think. If we take 30 seconds, 15 seconds, to just think before we react, man, everybody, man, our lives will be so different.
Mm-hmm.
The outcomes of a lot of situations will be so different.
But here's the thing, finding your why is important, or identifying a trigger is very important, because one, it's going to help you first go in and work on a relationship with self. But most of us don't do that, and we are in a relationship, and then we have to go backwards and work on, ourselves. But here's the thing, in that, while working on yourself, you got to find your whys first. This is why I do it. This is why I react. This is, turn. Yeah, the 12-year-old does show up during this time, and I know why now. And so with finding your whys is education. You're educating yourself. Now that you are educated on it, you are aware. And so with awareness comes accountability. You have to be accountable. So yes, we're talking about how the brain tricks us and everything else, but the brain is very clever. It's very clever. So at the same time, it is when you're getting ready to when you're having that tantrum and you're showing up as a 12-year-old and you're hearing your cousin, your mom, and your auntie talking to you and you're not in real time, your brain will also say, now, dude, you know what this is.
Yeah.
And then they go that internal fight, like, I know what this is, but I want to stay here though. I'm used to it and I'm already here, so I'm gonna commit.
Right.
The tools, come on. It's like when you're driving and you fall asleep at the wheel and you hit the sound that makes you wake up, the medium that makes you wake up, the loud noise. That's what's gonna go in, because that's accountability. Now, here's the thing, as we always been talking about, what we've been talking about in all these sessions, you have a choice. So you have a choice to continue to act in your 12-year-old self or act the fool, or you can put the pen in your left hand and do something different.
Absolutely. I love that, Kim, because, and ultimately, and I'm speaking directly to the audience, ultimately, like what we're speaking about, that 12-year-old person versus that 30, 40-year-old person, ultimately, when you working and engaging in these support groups where you're around like-minded people that are experiencing similar things, what's happening is there's a balance thing that's happening. When that 12-year-old person meets that 30, 40-year-old person, it's up to us as professionals, clinicians, coaches, whatever you want to call us, it's up to us to balance that out. What I mean by that is we're going to grow that 12-year-old person up a little bit, right? But we're going to also get that 30, 40-year-old person to be able to understand that 12-year-old person so that those people aren't bumping heads, right? So that when situations, negative situations or challenging situations, should I say, presents themselves, that 12-year-old person will look to that 30, 40-year-old person and rise up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a little immaturity will creep in, but guess what? You'll have that 30, 40-year-old person. You're talking about the same person now, hypothetically, but we'll have that 30, 40-year-old person that'll calm that 12-year-old person down. That's essentially what life is, y'all. It's about balance, right? We all got this very, very immature part of us. We all do. I don't care how you try to act, how you try to look, how you try to dress, how much money you got, how successful you are. We all have, that little immature individual still living in us, right? But it's the life's process. It's the lessons. It's all the things that we had to persevere through, all of the adversity that we had to endure, all of that. That's what makes us, right? That's what keeps us balanced. That's what allows us to just be great, right? I'm always saying that we all have greatness within us. We just got to pull it up out of us. What better way to do that than to be around like-minded people that can show you the way, right? I wasn't always this mature, right? Kim, no.
Nope.
But when you know better, you do better, Kim. I didn't know better, when I was younger. But I always had ambition. I always was driven. I always wanted better for myself. I always wanted to do and be better. So it took me actually, putting the work in. It took me actually seeking the help out. It took me actually asking questions and surrounding myself around people that can answer those questions, but show me how to do the things that they're telling me to do. It's one thing to talk somebody's ear off and tell them all the things. Like, we could do these lives all day. We could do these episodes all day. But if we're not engaging with people, actually showing them, letting these people ask us questions, then I feel like we're doing them a disservice, which is why we have this private community that you guys can just come in and rock with us. As a matter of fact, let me post this link. For those of you that's watching, I'm about to post a link in the comment. Click on the link, join free. Just join the community. We need as many people in the community as possible. Number one, because Facebook, I'm sick of them. They done deleted my whole doggone. You might can see that I'm on Facebook, but I ain't on Facebook. That's why y'all don't see a lot. But anyway, we switching all of this. I'm posting the link. I just posted. It's about to post. Click the link. If you can see the link, click the link, and just
meet us on the yard.
Meet us on the yard. We call it the yard. It's a virtual yard. It's where we go. We kick it. Whatever. We all about positivity, right? Mm-hmm. Like-minded individuals that want to grow, heal, and empower, right? So, you go engage with a lot of different licensed therapists, mental health, life coaches. For the most part, it's mental health therapists, but we can actually, guide you in the way that you need to be guided, inform you in the way that you need to receive the information. At the end of the day, we want you to receive it, digest it, and apply it to your life. We're not doing this just to do it. I'm definitely not taking time away from my kids to give y'all this game for y'all not to utilize it, because everything I'm telling y'all, I could be telling them, which I do tell them, which is why they're so great. But I'm saying all that to say this. Listen, Adversity University is a life skill educational platform for personal growth and guidance, right? Our mission is to enhance lives through personal growth, which is a constant thing, right? Mental health, which is very, very serious, and emotional intelligence, which is what a lot of us have been missing and are still missing, right? We don't have that information. We can have all the degrees in the world. We can have all the money in the world. We can have all the property, real estate in the world. But if we ain't got emotional intelligence, if we're not intelligent emotionally, that means we don't have the wherewithal to be able to, or the information, the knowledge to be able to pass this down to not only our kids, but to a mentee, to our cousins, to an aunt, to a coworker, whomever, right? Mm-hmm. If we don't have this information, we're doomed. If we're not applying these things in our lives, we're doomed. Y'all see what's going on in this world. Y'all see what social media is doing to the world, to these young people. These young people are really the future. So just think about it. Think about what's happening right now, and think about where you would like to be 10, 20 years from now. Do you think that is realistic at this point of the game? Do you think that is realistic that you're going to see what it is that you want to see with things moving in the way that is moving right now? I can argue that it'll be challenging, right? But what I can say is that if you or anybody that you know are surrounded around like-minded individuals, professionals, clinicians, mental health professionals that can educate them, inform them, right? Guide them in a way that they need it to be able to digest it and apply it on a day-to-day basis, this is the right place. This is where you need to be. So the link, click the link. We're going to also have some links in our bios. We're going to be running ads. We're going to do everything to get as many people. By December, we need 10,000 people in I'm going to just say, by December 2024, we need 10,000 people in the community. All right? So get the link, pass it to whomever you want to pass it to, but we will be hosting and facilitating these support group, Man Mondays and Women Wednesdays, right? Men Mondays, Women Wednesdays, right? I'll be hosting Man Mondays. Kim will be hosting Women Wednesdays. We will be, shooting out the links that y'all need to be able to access these groups, right? But just join the yard. You will be notified via email, via the app. All these things, man. Listen, it's a new world. It's a new wave, and we want y'all there, right? Adversity University is the generational blessing. Our whole thing is to strengthen the family unit, right? If you're not good to yourself, you're not going to be great to your family. And at the end of the day, greatness is all I chase. And family is the most important thing in life. Everything else is an illusion. I'm going to say that again. Family is all that matters in life. Everything else is an illusion. Everything. All right. So make sure y'all doing what y'all supposed to do. Click the link. Join the private community. Meet us on the yard. You know, let's chop it up. Let's build together. We got a whole lot going on. Again, every month we're going to do a personal growth challenge. The first week of every month, we're going to do the personal growth challenge. But every Monday and every Wednesday, we will be hosting the men groups and the women groups, the personal growth group, right? Because that's what it's about, growing. If you ain't growing, you're dying. And dog it, I plan on being here till 100.
That's right. Ditto. Well,
hey, man. So, shoot, you got anything you want to say?
I think you said everything.
I said everything?
I think you wrapped it up smoothly. Yep. Come meet us on the yard. Join the, click on the link and join us.
Join us. I ain't gonna tell y'all how Kim tried to go to sleep on me earlier. She was yawning earlier before we got
in. Listen, my bedtime is very early. It's approaching. You might change it to 7:30. I'm looking like crossing the boundary, sir. What I did was I set a boundary. I communicated assertively with you.
She tried to go to sleep on your boy. But no, and listen, put an AU in the comment. If you're really about this life, if you want to grow and be better and do better, you know what I'm saying? Especially us men, we got to do better, fellas. Like, in private, I talk to a lot of men who are dealing with a lot, but never verbalize these things until it get bad. I got a history of doing the same thing. But we got to change that. Remember, we got to step outside of our comfort zone and start doing things that, that shake us up a little bit, but mean us well. So, just join the group. We making sure we're making these things affordable for everybody so that everybody can engage, right? At the end of the day, we want the help. We need the help. Everybody can't necessarily afford the help. So we try to, create a middle ground to give people an entry point to be able to get this work, right? Get the game that we're giving, right? Get the life that we're speaking into you, all right? So, listen, Kim, you got something to say?
No, I think that was pretty good.
Okay, all right.
I was getting hyped up. You was getting me hyped up.
I done got you hyped up. I done slowed it down. I done killed the moment about trying to call you out. Look at me.
Seriously, I was like, get the life. I was about to be up at 5 more minutes. I was felt it.
No, but listen, we all about, living a great, prosperous life. We all about having fun. We talk trash to each other, but most importantly, we uplift each other, right? We talk trash to each other out of love and support, and that'll never disappear. That'll never go away. And we want you to join this family so that we can do the same. So listen, knowledge is power. Shared knowledge is more powerful. Perseverance is the key to overcoming all adversity. So never give up. No matter what life throws at you, keep your feet moving. Focus on the solution and let success be the goal. We out of here, y'all.
With perseverance to meet adversity, then success is right around the corner. You just got to be willing to keep going. This is Adversity University. What's your plan? You gonna keep your feet planted or you gonna keep your feet moving? And success is the next step. Now what you gonna do? Adversity University.